Hey there, I'm Jen Ferguson with Artistic Painting Studio, and join me as I show you all my tips and tricks on how to make a super cute baseball cap. Hey guys, I'm super excited about this project. I always have so much fun making these hats. So we are going to do a baseball cap similar to the one that I've already done, and I'm showing you that I have definitely picked two different foils because I think it's fun to have something on the top and also on the bottom of the cap. So I'm going to go through all my steps of how I actually do this. The first thing that we're going to be using is our Bondo Clear. And this is a really important step because this is fabric on here. And for the process to work well, we have to seal seal the fabric, okay? So the Bondo Clear, make sure that you stir it well. It has a tendency to settle a little bit, and you want to make sure you stir it before every use. And then we're just going to go ahead and clear coat. And I'm just making sure, I got a little fuzz here. Okay, I want to make sure that that's removed, okay? You can tape off. I find it's just easier to go ahead and have a nice artist brush and just paint up to that edge. I normally will always come back and embellish by adding some rhinestones or some trim or something around the top of the hat to kind of hide the transition if it's not perfect, okay? But be generous with your Bondo because, again, we need to seal this fabric so that our foil adhesive does not completely soak in and that we end up getting a really good transfer with our foils, okay? So I'm using the Bondo Clear, which seems to be the best product that we have found for this purpose. And the Bondo Clear still stays flexible, okay? And that is one thing that really is important is the bill of the cap is bendable. And you want to make sure that you're putting something on here that will also flex with the cap. You don't want to get anything on here that's going to dry hard and stiff, as that will give you issues at some point. So as you can see, I'm trying to be pretty generous. I'm making sure that I'm careful with my brush strokes as I go around the edge and try to get it right up to the top of the cap here. Sometimes I have to kind of be quiet as I'm brushing and trying to get a nice straight line. I don't know, I find it's hard to talk and brush sometimes at the same time. Now you can work on just the front and get the entire top of the bill done and then flip it over and do the other side. But I have found I just like working on both sides at the same time because each layer has to dry for a while. Every time you put anything on this cap, it's going to make it super wet, and you're going to have to wait for that to completely dry before you can go to your next process. So I find that just for time, it's just easier to go ahead and coat both sides. The other thing is when you are finding your cap, I also pick a color of foil that is going to coordinate with the color of the cap, or we could switch and use Bondo black or white or off canvas white and change the color of the bill if needed. So make sure that you're finding a foil that is going to look complementary over the bill color. Now I'm not changing the bill color, I'm just sealing it with our clear. So I will make sure that my foil color that I choose, whatever pattern or color, will actually work well with this being the base coat color. Sometimes it doesn't make too much of a difference, other times it really can. So just keep that in mind when you're picking your foil color. So once I have this on here completely, which I'm just about done, like I said, this will take normally just overnight to completely dry and be ready for our next layer. So I have found that I just use hangers. I just use like a regular hanger and put the hat on here, the back part of the hat, okay, and then you can just hang this to dry. That way it's someplace safe while it is completely drying. So our first layer, which was our Bondo Clear, is completely dry, and you'll be able to feel a different touch to this, okay? It's going to feel, I want to say, a little bit rougher. It's not going to feel as nice and soft as the fabric does now, but it's sealed and ready to go. Our next coat is going to be our wonderful Artsyville Embellishments foil adhesive, and I've already taken some out and put it onto what I call my sticky plate, so this is ready to go. And we're going to do the exact same thing we did with the Bondo, and we're going to put on a full coat, okay? So you can see this goes on milky white. When you're on a darker surface like this burnt orange, it's really easy to see where you're applying it. It also will make your surface normally look shiny as it's drying, so you should be able to determine where it has been placed. Again, like I said with the Bondo, you guys be generous with this. Make sure that you have really good coverage. We only have one layer of Bondo on here that is sealing the fabric, and we want to make sure that we still end up with a really good foil transfer, so we want to be generous with our application. As the foil adhesive dries, it will dry shiny, okay? It'll definitely be a little shiny and clear, so it's not going to stay white like this. But I do allow my hats to dry longer than just going clear. So let the foil adhesive dry for a couple of hours minimum, okay? Remember, the foil adhesive never dries beyond a firm tack, so you can leave this overnight. You could leave it for, 5-6 hours, whatever works, but definitely let it dry super well before you go forward with your application. And as you can see, I am trying to come back and even straighten out my brush marks so that they're a little bit smoother and that I don't have a lot of application marks because the foil adhesive doesn't self-level. Whatever marks and brush strokes you leave behind, you possibly will be able to see through the foil. So make sure that you're a little bit neat with that. I'm not always neat when I put it on, but I try to come back and make sure that my brush strokes are all going the same direction, or at least soften them up after I get it on there, okay? And then don't forget about this edge, okay? I think sometimes we get top and bottom and forget about the edge that is joining those two, so you don't want to forget about that. So once I have this full coat on, I'm probably just going to go ahead and let this sit for probably about 5 or 6 hours and make sure that it is thoroughly dry and super sticky so that we can get our foil transfer on here and also get the best transfer that we can accomplish. Another little tip and trick, you guys, when you're working on something like a hat, which is definitely an odd surface, okay, it's not flat, it's not just like working on wood, make sure that you test your foil that you're going to use. First of all, making sure that it's going to look good on that hat color, and then also that it's going to be an easier release foil because you are going on a challenging application for the surface here, okay? When you're on something smooth and flat and it's wood, that's a little bit easier than trying to go on something that's going to be double-sided and a little bit curved, and it's fabric, not just wood, okay? So make sure you've got good coverage, make sure you don't have anything piled up on the front edge, and we're just going to hang this again. my wonderful little hanger trick, you guys. These work good. Just put the back section onto your hanger and then just let it hang and dry. And then we'll be back for the super fun part of transferring our foil. Okay guys, we are ready for the fun part, which is picking some foils, and I chose one foil for the top. This one is called Dante, and I thought it blended so well with the color of the hat. And then also I went with Chandler Cheetah for the inside, okay? So I'm mixing it up a little bit. I wanted to make sure that the foils complemented each other as well as the color of the hat. So I think these two will be really fun. Also, before I had set my hat down, you guys, I grabbed some press and seal and covered my table because remember, the hat is sticky on both sides, so I don't want to just stick it onto paper because it might get actually stuck. Okay, so we're going to do the top first. And when you're doing this, make sure that when you pull the foil up, that you're pulling it up far enough to get all the way to the back section, okay? Because it curves along there. Make sure you pull it up high enough. And I normally will grab some scissors, split down the middle here, and it tends to allow it to fall over to both sides, okay? So remember how I said you want to make sure. I know I could have probably positioned that a little bit better, but not too bad. So I'm going to grab my scrub brushes. I'm using a real stiff bristled nail brush. I got it at the Dollar Tree, and also a toothbrush, which again, the Dollar Tree. And you're going to want to give this a really good scrub. So I normally will start with my bigger brush to begin with. And then I am going ahead and making sure I get this edge here as well, because I want the top foil to fold over that edge and that it will meet the other foil on the other side, okay? So I like to get that nice clean edge going. Okay, and then I'm gonna make sure I got this pulled up, and again, get that foil to make it over the edge so it has that front part. I'm using my fingernail, so I'm digging right up to where the bill meets the top of the cap. And then start releasing, okay? And if you feel like you're getting the coverage that you were hoping for, oh, look how bright and shiny that's gonna be, you can either let it fall right back into place, come back and scrub again if you feel you need to, or just keep scrubbing and releasing. If you're happy with the way it looks, then you can just keep releasing. I find that the stitching on the top of the bill normally takes a second time of scrubbing to get it all the way in, all that stitching, okay? And remember, don't forget about your fingernails, I'm telling you. They really do help. Oh my gosh, this is looking so great. And the other thing I do want to point out, because I picked a foil that blended so well with the hat color, I'm not even starting to notice where maybe the foil is not transferring perfectly or not. But if I look at my carrier sheet, then I can tell that there's a little bit of metallization left behind, and then I can go back and scrub. So it really is important to pick a foil that the color is going to complement your project. It just helps to eliminate any of those areas that look like imperfections because they just blend in. Foils, we never say are going to cover 100%, so there's always going to be some of your base coat color showing, and just remember that as you're going through the process, okay? Okay, I'm going to make sure I've got that edge really well. Not that I want it to fold over to the other side, but I'm really hoping to get this edge here where it's going to meet it on the bottom, okay? So I feel like I could have probably gotten a little bit better. Let's see if I can match up that section and just get that area a little bit better. Probably should have critiqued before I completely removed it, but I'm just going to go along that edge a little bit better. And like I said, I'd rather have my top foil completely cover that edge, and then the bottom one will just wrap up to it, okay? So I'm even just using my fingernail. This pattern is one that is really nice to work with because there's no pattern to actually match up. You can just use any part of the foil and it's just going to blend. Okay, I think I just about got that. Okay, and I want to show you guys how great that looks. And then the complementary to that burnt orange is just beautiful. Okay, so now I'm going to flip it over. And we're going to grab our Chandler Cheetah. And again, remember when you're pulling it up, you want to make sure that you're pulling it far enough that it's going to get that whole curve, okay? So I always feel like I end up with pulling it too high, but better that than too low, okay? You can always use all your scraps. So you can just cut off the sections that have been used and save all your scrap pieces for another project. Okay, once you start releasing, you feel like you're seeing that base coat. And the Chandler Cheetah doesn't have as much of the rust, it's just only on the little spots. So I'm going to have to scrub, I think, a little bit harder on this side to cover that burnt orange. But it's okay if a little bit peeks through, and it will, guaranteed, okay? Remember, you're never going to get 100% coverage. Okay, I think we're just about done there. Just got one little area there in the center. Okay, look at that. The Chandler Cheetah came out really awesome as well. Okay, so once you have your foils on both sides, and you guys, you can definitely use just the same foil, both top and bottom. I just love to have fun with the hats and do different colors, okay? So to finish this off, again, we're going to be using that same Bondo Clear, okay, and I just got it in a small container here, and we're going to coat it, okay? So once you transfer your foil, there is nothing else to wait for, okay? You can go ahead and clear coat as soon as your foil is transferred and protect that surface. This is going to protect it where you could definitely hand wash the hat, but if you want to throw these in either the dishwasher or the washing machine, there's another product that we have found over the years called Plazy Dip, and we'll have it in a link into the comments below. But that is one that a few customers have said they have tried and they were able to clear with that and throw it through the washer with no issue whatsoever. Now, I'd still keep it out of the dryer. I normally just wipe mine clean, and I guess I just don't use my hats enough to ever feel like I've got them so dirty that I need to throw them in the washer, but I mainly just wear mine at the river, okay? So make sure full coverage, okay? your Bondo Clear, both sides. You can also use our final coat if you have that product. The Bondo Clear, I can probably clear this well enough in 2 coats. Final coat normally will take me 3 or 4, okay? Both products stay flexible, which helps them to be able to go onto the hats, like I had indicated earlier. And that is it, guys. I hope that you have thoroughly enjoyed this. If you have any questions, make sure just to go ahead and post them in the comments below. And I'm looking forward to seeing tons of fun hat projects from you. Okay, double check, making sure that as I brush the bottom, I didn't slop it onto the top. And then we're there, you guys. Thank you guys so much for joining me for this fun tutorial. You'll find all the products and materials linked in the video or the description below. And make sure to like and subscribe so you don't miss any of our upcoming tutorials.